Hello, welcome back to the channel. The best laid plans of mice and men. That's the phrase, right? There's a good thing that there are 2 weeks between each one of the videos that we release on YouTube, because last weekend was a completely wasted weekend. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. The cabin that we're building is what a lot of people will refer to as a 3-season cabin. What that means is that people wouldn't be comfortable staying over winter in the coldest of months. So the middle of the winter, they wouldn't be comfortable staying in the cabin. So it's a 3-season cabin. We're not doing electric, we're not doing plumbing, at least not right away. But the one thing that I really wanted to do, we're gonna have a wood stove in here, so kind of break the chill. But even though we're not putting insulation in the walls right out of the gate, I wanted people to feel at least a little bit of comfort. And what most people hate, what people complain about all the time, is cold floors. So the plan was to insulate the floors of this cabin. I've changed my mind. Unfortunately, I changed my mind this week, and I've changed it about 4 times this week. So last weekend we did go to the lumber yard, and for those of you that care, Allie did get some plants. So, but anyway, we went to the lumber yard, bought a bunch of stuff, and then I took it all back yesterday, and bought more stuff. I had an original plan. If you'd watched the original video of our cost estimate, I had a plan to insulate these floors, which I'll show you in a second what the plan was and what the plan's gonna be. But I've thrown that out the window. I didn't have a plan for skirting, but I was gonna insulate the floors. That's just a welcome invitation to bugs and squirrels and snakes. Nobody wants that. So I've kind of switched gears, and today we're gonna do a permanent skirting on the outside of this and do a vapor barrier / insulation. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So the original plan inside the joists here was to use these boards, these little 5/8 boards. I'm dropping all my tools on the ground. And to install them, I have a little piece cut here, to install them at the bottom inside of the joist here and on the other side, and then lay a sheet. So these would be attached like this, and then a sheet of plywood would go and sit on there, and then the insulation would fill this cavity, and then the top gets your plywood. So that was the original plan. The problem, as I've said, is that then this whole open area down here is completely open to the elements outside. That doesn't make any sense. So the first part of the plan, my first plan, was to build some sort of a permanent wall on the outside here of my ledger, my joists. The problem with that is, if this is the top of the wall, rain's just gonna hit that and get down behind my thing, which I don't want that either. So what I think I'm going to do instead is build a wall that comes underneath the joists here. And so the way to accomplish that is I need to nail to the inside of this my fake wall, whatever I'm doing. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to take my long boards, these long boards, and cut a notch in the end like this, and I'm going to drive these down into the ground, attach with screws to the back side of this into my ledger. That'll be permanently down in the ground there. It'll be attached here. I'll run some furring strips on the inside underneath my board, and then we're going to put some galvanized steel on the outside. All of this stuff can withstand the moisture and the ground content. As you know, the ground slopes down, so we are going to have to cut out a little bit, kind of make that even and make sure there's no gaps for animals and critters and things like that. So that's the plan. I have not ever done this, so we're gonna enjoy this journey together. So we started by digging a little bit of a trench, just a couple inches deep, all the way down to our center post that's sitting on a concrete block. It's the only one that's like that. And it is directly below the inside of where we're going to do that. So, trench, first step done. Got a new tool so I could work out in the woods without power. We're going to start by putting a little bit of a point on the end of this. So I measured my post, I guess we're going to call it. I measured it so that there would be about a foot of this that went down into the ground, and that it would go below the level of my ledger. Made sure that it was level up and down, and now we put it in. That's still holding. The next measurement is from the inside of this post to the inside of that post. The major change in my shift of thinking from insulation to vapor barrier / insulation is this product. Brand name is called Reflectix. It is comes in a roll, different lengths. It's literally foil wrapped bubble wrap. The whole point of this is not for R factor, even though it does provide a little bit of R factor, but it's to ward off insects, ward off bugs, ward off all that kind of stuff, but to also trap in the warmth and trap in any heat loss from getting out as well as cold getting in. We will roll this out literally on top of our joist before we do our plywood floor, and I'm also going to put it on the inside of my skirting before I put my metal on. So the next step will be attaching this to our supports at the top and the bottom, and we're going to do that with staple gun. This is a bit of an awkward thing. And so on. What we are using for our skirting is galvanized roofing material. A friend of mine named Todd loaned me his saw with a metal cutting blade. I've never used this saw. I've never cut this metal. So I have no idea how this is going to work out. One of the tricks that he gave me was, since this stuff's so flimsy, to attach these boards and then just run down the boards. So that's what we're going to do. Let's make our cut. This is our first one. Should have worn ear protection. So I went ahead and installed my first piece. For a couple reasons I did it off camera. Number one, I thought maybe I would probably screw something up, which I did. Missed my bottom rail, so I had to put another screw in, but you leave that in. But I wanted to show you what we're installing it with. These screws have a rubber gasket right here, and so when it screws through the metal into the wood, this rubber gasket presses up against the metal and creates a watertight seal. So that's the first step. The second step, I don't know if you can see it, this dark line right here, this is called butyl tape. I think that's how you say it. And so when you install this, you install it overlapping. So these are ridged, and so you would put this over top of the other one. I think there's a rhyme or reason on how to do it the right way. Since I didn't feel like using that terrifying saw to cut lengthwise, we're probably going to overlap more than we need to, but that's fine. And then we use these screws that I just showed you, and we go through both layers. But the first step is to make sure that butyl tape is connected. So we get that in first, and then we're going to attach this right here. This is best done with two people, but the missus is at the grocery store. So you go right in, and we're going to screw to that top plate that we installed. Hopefully. So that tucks it in real tight, takes it. There's a lot of outtakes in these that I don't delete because, well, I'm learning about myself and how limited my vocabulary is on video. Used to think I was a good talker. All right. So that one is in there. We gotta try to get this. If my cut was straighter, this would be flush against it, but again, that saw was terrifying. So I'm gonna put, usually you'd skip a rib and do every other one. I'm gonna go ahead and put one here because my other piece is right behind it. We wanna make sure we get a good bond there. Son of a mother. You're going in there whether you like it or not. Told you. So, then we just work our way down. After this one, we'll put the third piece on top of this. You can see my bubble foils behind it. And then this ridge, or this ditch that we dug out, we will fill that in. Well, as with most projects, they always take longer than you think. I did not get done today. I really wanted to get done today. Only got 2 sides done. Well, I guess there's 6 sections because I put another post in the middle of the sides. And so there's 2 sections on each side and 1 on each end. I got the back section on the, I guess, north wall. I got that done, and I got the short end of the cabin done. The short end of the cabin was the hardest one. I knew it was going to be the hardest one, so I figured I'd knock it out. The one on the other side is also going to be pretty hard, and there's a giant poison ivy vine that I cut off a long time ago, but I don't know if you can see that. It ain't dead. That's from last week or week before. So I didn't get done today, but plan on doing the rest of them. The front of the cabin, which is what I'm sitting on, I'm actually going to put in a kind of a door, not kind of a door, a door. I'm going to put a door into what is essentially a crawl space underneath the cabin. If we ever need to get in there, that'll be the best place for it. So I guess we'll work on that next weekend. I have a friend who said he might come over, so might see another face on a video if he can make it. If not, it'll just be my ugly mug again. Thanks for hanging out. This was a longer video that didn't get as much stuff done and was not on my agenda originally, so I'm okay with that. I actually feel really good about that. It's something that needed to get done. That's it. I'm done for the day. The couch is calling my name, as is dinner. It's Sunday. I'm ready for the week to come and go so that I can get back to working on the cabin. Living for the weekend, right? Thanks all for watching. Appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the flip side.